And welcome back. Carol, watching us on Free Speech TV in Monessen, Pennsylvania. Hey, Carol, thanks for watching and thanks for calling.
Monessen, but that's okay.
Okay, my apologies, Monessen.
That's all right. I have a question for the congressman.
Go for it. You're on with him.
If it were possible, this is something I never hear mentioned, but if it were possible to reinstate the risk corridors, which Marco Rubio removed sometime late, I think in 2015, would that be helpful to the ACA? That's my first question. And my second one is, if they reinstate, instead of reinstating the part of the ACA that says you have to pay a fine if you don't, apply for it or take it, what if we rewarded in some small way people who did take it rather than penalize them for that? Would that help the ACA? That's my two questions. And
great questions, Carol. Thank you. So, one, the risk corridors obviously is one of the things that made it tougher for the ACA to survive. So you could definitely do work around that. And that's part of why we do have a few things to make sure that the Affordable Care Act can be something that continues. We know that there's people who have need in healthcare. We clearly saw that. We set the standards now by things like pre-existing conditions and women paying the same as men and no lifetime caps on your health insurance. But we do have to fix the problems that exist. And clearly that was a poison pill put in by Marco Rubio that needs to be addressed. On your idea, I do like what you're saying. Is what we've got to figure out is that fine wasn't enough to make healthy people sign up. And maybe a carrot rather than a hammer might be the way to go. I think a public option also is another way to go to address it. But there's solutions to make what's working right now work better and to address a few of the pitfalls that exist, that you don't have to completely throw it out just so you can give a big tax break to the wealthiest in this country and to big pharma insurance companies, and then make it so that you've got tens of millions of people who now don't have health insurance. And don't forget, those costs get picked up by all the rest of us. So our insurance will go up as well because of this. And hospitals are going to be on the dime for a lot of the people who come in emergency rooms, and that's going to increase costs there as well. So you're going to have spiraling increases because of this really bad proposal the Republicans are going to put forward.
Thomas in Brooklyn, New York. You're on with Congressman Mark Pocan.
I'm on?
You're on, Thomas.
Yeah, well, the lady who spoke before me kind of took the question out, because I wanted to know why was the big deal about the risk corridor that they refused to put in, but yet they want to put in $8 billion in on their end. That was my question as far as the risk corridor was concerned.
Yeah, Thomas, you're pointing out the amazing hypocrisy of the Republicans in Washington. Unfortunately, I see it every day. I don't get fazed by it as much, but you're seeing it, and I think if everyone is kind of taking a look. So they're saying now is they're going to allow, they've got this high-risk insurance pool, which doesn't work especially well. It's very costly, and it didn't work in states like Wisconsin well and other places. And now they know it's not going to work, so some people wanted to vote against it who are Republicans. So now they're going to throw, I think it's $8 billion is what the Upton Amendment would put forward, which isn't going to be close to what you need to help cover it. The whole idea that they're doing this as their answer shows we could fix the current plan a lot easier than completely throwing it out and starting anew.
There you go. AJ, listening on Sirius XM in Savannah, Georgia. You are on with Congressman Pocan.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your show is so smart and right on. I just enjoy it every day. And Congressman Pocan, I'm with the other caller about you need to run, sir, to get into everything you say just makes such sense, common sense. And I think so many people are forgetting about that side of instead of having prejudice, just have common sense about how to treat each other. And every time I listen to you on Tom's show, it's enlightening, and I really wish you would run for higher office. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. That's very kind of you.
Was that that's what you called about, AJ?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Noted. David
AJ,
in Indian Trail, North. Sorry, Congressman?
I'm sorry, if I can just say this. AJ, there's a lot of members here who are good progressives in our caucus who share the same values, I think have enormous common sense. And I thank you for your very kind words. That's very nice of you. But I think that we've got a lot of people here. As we said, often the corporate media doesn't cover all these great members of the Progressive Caucus. I'm really fortunate to have this opportunity to be on Tom's show, but we've got some great people from across the country all fighting towards the same efforts. And, I'm very proud of my colleagues in the Progressive Caucus.
David in Indian Trail, North Carolina, you are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time today. I was calling about House Resolution 367, the Hearing Protection and Safety Act, to take the sound suppressors off of the NFA list. With Wisconsin being a state that is suppressor ownership is legal and also legal for hunting and a great outdoor state, what is your stance on that law?
By suppressors, you're talking about what are typically called silencers for guns and rifles?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, David, I'm not familiar with, I think you said House Resolution 367. Like I said, there's been several thousand bills already introduced this session, and generally, if it doesn't come under your committee of jurisdiction, I'm on the Appropriations Committee, until it becomes kind of a reality, like it's coming forward, we don't take a look at it, or if constituents bring it up, sometimes we'll take a look at it. But I will commit to do that for you, David, but I don't know offhand. Also, Tom, if I can, I promise I'd get this answer. I want to make sure I get in before the end of the show. The Progressive Caucus does not come in as a completely balanced budget. However, it does reduce the public debt and the deficit by $4 trillion by 2027, which is significantly more than you've seen out of most any other plan introduced.
Wow. You're cutting $4 trillion out of our national debt, while Donald Trump wants to add $12 trillion to it. That's crazy.
It's give it all the rhetoric, right?
And he gets all the publicity. That's amazing. David in Las Vegas, you're on the air with Congressman Pocan. Thanks for listening to SiriusXM.
Hello, Mr. Pocan.
Hi, David.
My stepdaughter, Shilin, she died about a year and a half ago because she didn't have proof of health insurance. So we're suing a local hospital here under EMTALA, the Emergency Medical Treatment in Labor Law, for the violation of that. But the reason I'm calling is because my wife, Amy, and I, we've been organizing healthcare rallies here in Las Vegas. And we got the titles to support HR 676, Medicare for All. And now we're very unhappy that Representative Ruben Kuhn from the Nevada's 4th District, which is my district, he has not co-sponsored HR 676. In fact, he's making public statements against Medicare for All. He's saying that we need to only focus on defending the ACA. We cannot protect the ACA and co-sponsor HR 676 at the same time, which is ridiculous. And Representative Ruben Kuhn is on the Progressive Caucus that you are a chair of. And I don't think either he needs to co-sponsor HR 676 or not be on the Progressive Caucus. Is giving Progressive Caucus a bad name. So I'd like for you to talk to your colleague, Ruben Kuhn, and then really put some pressure on him to co-sponsor HR 676, Medicare for All. These Nevada representatives are demanding. I am involved with a lot of progressive organizations here in Las Vegas, and he's not getting their support.
David, you should be a lobbyist. David, let's let the congressman respond. We only have 2 minutes left.
Yeah. Well, David, keep doing what you're doing, because the more people in his district who reach out to him about it, the more likely he is to sponsor it. And, the one thing I will say, when you're a freshman, this is now, your 5th month of being there, you're just starting your 5th month. There's a little bit of a learning curve. Even after 14 years in the legislature, I had a little bit of a learning curve coming here. So I wouldn't rule him out yet. Augie also sent a tweet about this, and she was asking if there was a bill, and I'm glad you mentioned this, because there is a Medicare for All bill that's out there. And it's important, David, to note that we have more sponsors of that bill than we've ever had before right now in Congress. So all the work that you and other people in the country are doing around this, all this debate about health care, where it all comes back to, if we had a single-payer system or a Medicare for All system, would probably make a lot more sense than what we currently have, is paying off. So please keep up what you're doing. I'll personally talk to Ruben on your behalf. But if you can have your constituents do it, without question, that's the best, strongest thing you could do. Because if he gets 20, 30, 40, 100 calls, I'll tell you, it's hard to ignore that many people in your district asking you to sign on to a bill.
Yeah, and that has more impact than a colleague talking to you. Congressman, we have just 1 minute left in the hour, and not enough time to fairly put a guest or a caller on, although the board is still full with people from California to Washington, Illinois to Maryland to Arkansas to Colorado who want to talk to you. But final thoughts for the week. What should we be doing? What should we be paying attention to?
I'll tell you, if they wind up passing this dog of a healthcare bill this week, everyone's going home next week. Go to their town halls and light them up because they're going to make sure that millions of people lose health insurance so they could check an arbitrary box and give a bunch of tax cuts to big wealthy donors and insurance companies and big pharma. They deserve to be lit up.
Okay. Congressman Mark Pocan, a fighter. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you.
Congressman Mark Pocan, you can reach his website is Pocan, POCAN.house.gov, and his Twitter account is @Rep, as in representative, Rep Mark, M-A-R-K, Pocan, POCAN, @Rep Mark Pocan. We'll be right back.